Okay, the next interesting topic that we have today for today is startup engineering. We will discuss on this concept for today, and we would wind up the session post this. Okay, let's understand what is startup engineering. Startup engineering is nothing but to uh, get the things work for you, or uh, make the things happen realistic so that people are ready to buy your services or product. A startup engineering is basically into make a sealable product, a deal that is okay for a customer to purchase. And how do you do this is to build up a startup with an innovation that can help you to have a product that is accepted by the customer. So the entire activity of making this happen, we call it as startup engineering. So I promise this session is going to be quite very interesting for you people. Another 30 minutes that we're going to discuss on this is going to be quite very interesting. I have a couple of examples which I would be discussing with you, and post which I will tell you what is that you got to really do to make things happen for you, right? Okay, there are a couple of examples that I would discuss today with you is the disruption in taxi services then and now. So you could see, yeah. So now when you say a problem statement, so when you talk about, I didn't mention this earlier, when you talk about startup engineering, it all starts with finding a solution or finding an answer for a question, right? So we call this as a problem statement. Now, the problem statement can be an input that you receive because of the gap analysis that you do and try and understand what is the gap that's there between the uh, satisfaction level of the customer with that of the actual product that's been offered to the customer. So, do you see any gap? So, that can be one input for you to think about how could you really cope up this gap, or what can be filled this gap through. So, do you have an improvised product, or can technology be an answer to this, or do you think there should be a replacement in the product, or do you think there should be a different service that you could think about? You could resolve this problem. So, to be an entrepreneur first, or to have a startup successfully, you got to have first thing is to find out a problem statement. So the disruption in taxi services, then you had a huge number of taxis which the drivers used to own it. We have one single platform to connect the customer and the taxi drivers through Uber and Ola, which is a very well known startup in the metropolitan cities in India, right? So you could see the cities, metropolitan cities, day by day becoming geographically more. I mean, they are spreading across their boundaries towards the smaller towns, and it is really huge these days because of the extensive growth that you could see amongst these metropolitan cities. People come from different small towns to the metropolitan cities to have livelihood, to earn better, and to have greater savings and more money, right? So the opportunities are here to the taxi service is more because the peripheral or the geography to travel is really huge, right? We do have metro, we do have taxis, we have rickshaws. It differs from city to city. When you take a scenario of Bangalore, we don't really have a hire taxi concept from a long time. We have autos, we have yeah, rickshaws. That's it. We don't even have the manual rickshaws here. It's only the auto that's available in Bangalore. One of the uh, most preferred destination for startups these days, you could see, because the city itself has a greater potential for growth because of a number of reasons. People prefer more Bangalore in South India, right? So we don't have something like this. So it was the first time when Ola and Uber which had come into Bangalore, made people understand that they could also have uh, a taxi service instead of an auto with a lesser price, which was great delightment for the customers. Yes, this was a great idea. When you look at Ola and Uber, it is a great idea. Why do I say? Because there is no much investment and risk involved to it. You got to just attach your middleman between your customer and the service provider. It's just a platform that provides through an application software. Here, things could be much more served, or you could delight your customer by the technology, not by replacing the service or a product, right? So that's what I meant when I say a startup could be successful, or your ideology of making things happen can also be just by having an innovation of technology into your business idea, right? So this is one great example which is live in front of us that tells that you can really make money by developing an application software that brings the customer and the service provider together. If you think about two different perspectives, I would not know where is the taxi driver sitting at home, or the taxi driver would not know where is the customer, because we don't really have an option in Bangalore to have a taxi stand. Rather, we have an auto stand. And in Bangalore, what is the concept about the auto rickshaws over here is they are highly the prices are really high because the driver, you got to really listen upon to him. Ola or Uber, you don't really have that pain or problem in finding or going in search of the service providers. Rather, you can just get into the taxi at your doorstep. Wonderful thought. This is another example that you people can think about of a startup. And we do have disruption in grocery. Yes, gone are those days where the small retailers used to play a greater role in India. All thanks to Big Bazaar, which replaced this Kirana stores, I must say, in India, which was a greater movement towards the grocery retailing for that matter, or the provisions to purchase, where Big Bazaar said under one roof you got everything for that matter, whatever the domestic needs a particular individual wants. So there's a one step ahead. People said, why go to shop? You don't really have time. Why don't you stay back at home? Grofers is one such example that tells that we deliver the provisions or any essentials that is required to your doorstep in a more safer and in a more comfortable way to the customer at any place in a particular city. However, these services we could see to the limited area, but exclusively, we could see Amazon reaching out to many of the places across the metropolitan cities or the urban areas. Also, we have Flipkart, which has recently come up with several stores that has set up across India, which provides the much more lesser price. We have DMart for that matter, or you have Metro for that matter, who are examples for the wholesale prices retail providers, where you can go just pick up the things you need. However, things are much more easier than getting into a shop. You can still stay at home using the technology. You have to just pick up the products and put it in your cart, and in a day or two, it will be delivered to your doorstep, right? So, certain application softwares also have an option of delivering it the next day or the same day with revised rates as per the need of the customer. Then we have disruption in books. So you want to travel, you don't need to carry a book or number of books which is quite very heavy or big or something like that. You have Kindle, if I'm not wrong. Amazon provides this app where you can read the books with a very lesser price, electronic. Wherever you go, you got to just carry your phone. Everything. Now, phone has become multi-purpose. It has music, it has videos, you can watch movies, you can read books, whatnot. You can do video calling, you can have meetings, whatnot. Multi-purpose it's become. So taking this as an advantage, and you have a library to access electronically. the great ideas that we have disruption in hotel services then and now. We had Taj, quite expensive. We have Oyo rooms, which is quite very flexible, very economical for people to avail the services, which is again a greater idea. We have shopping, yeah, and again, Flipkart, Snapdeal, Myntra. .com. So Myntra.com, you could see they have developed the software in such a way that you can also have, because of the AI, the artificial intelligence, you can just give your body measurements and how you look. You can virtually see whether that particular dress fits you in or not. Or you also have models where you want to look into the dresses. You also have models who wear it and show it to you. A few seconds of video will be displayed on Mintra, which is more realistic in understanding whether you should go for this particular garment or not. So things have been so advanced, all thanks to technology. So whatever examples that I've given are the examples of the organizations who have not invested in the product, rather have invested in the technology and has brought two people together, that is customer and the service provider, or the product provider who provides the products to the customers, who is in, both are in search of each other. This is just a middleman or a platform to create value addition to the customer. So these are a few examples that I wanted to share with you people. So then we had the restaurants. Now we have Food Panda and Zomato. The delivery also to have reviews about the timing before you want to really avail. You have another app called as Groupon or Near Me, or Groupon and Near Me. These are the apps that will help you to have coupons where you can avail the facilities or services at a very lesser price than ever. So we do have several technologies and application software. Another services or a startup that I want to mention is Urban Clap, right? They have tailoring services, they have carpentry, they have services for making your what is that called as taps, and the plumbing services, sorry, the plumbing services, whatnot. They do have beauty services where you can have a beautician at your home, just at your comfort, and you can avail all the services. Instead of you going to a beauty parlor, they come into your house with a lot of hygiene. They give their services to you, right? So these are the tremendous and very innovative ideas that I would want to share with you people. So disruption in media today, for socializing, we do have a lot of options. We have WhatsApp, we have Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and we have YouTube, Snapchat, which is really happening these days. Insta, for that matter, Skype, Viber. You have Telegram recently, which is really doing well, and Signal, which is another one which is really doing well. Right on the for socializing, or these are all the socializing apps. Right. The next thing that we are going to learn today is what are the five essential elements of success of a startup. Definitely, yes, you used to have a right idea, right team of people, right business model, funding, and timing. So together, if you can bring in all these parameters rightly at the right time, definitely, yes, you would be able to achieve great. So before you start, what is that you got to think about? What is that you got to really work upon? Is target audience, size of users, business size, B2B or B2C, whether it has to be business to business or business to customer, or competitor and competitor analysis. You got to really work upon all these areas before you have a startup. The inputs that you get from all these parameters would be a great idea, sorry, a great information for you to really think about your idea, or to shape up the rough idea or a vague idea that you already have. So the first step towards a startup engineering, or to make things really work well for you, is the problem identification. So what is this problem identification? What is that we're going to do in this? So we define a problem, as I've already discussed with you. We identified the gap. So what should be happening and what is actually happening? That difference will be your problem statement. So for example, you want to buy a beauty soap, right? Or a soap that you use it regularly for taking bath. So, looking at the promotions, I have an impression thinking that its smell or the smell of the soap is going to be really good, pleasant. I would not know unless I use it. So I have a prior assumption or an impression about a product before purchase. So what really happens, I purchase a product, I start using it, I start experiencing the product. Then I'll get to know maybe it delights, maybe it is beyond my expectations, or maybe it is not reaching my expectations. There are two possibilities. In case if there is beyond my expectations, then I would go for repeated purchases. I would not only do a repeated purchase, I will also have this word of mouth, which is this is what is happening through Herbalife these days. I hope most of you know about Herbalife. It happens through networking marketing, right? Herbalife is a chain of products, health benefits products that provide you a protein powder, that provides you a multivitamin tablet, and many such benefit products will be provided. It's quite very costly. Same like Amway, which has again the range of products from for kids to elders. It differs. So these days, Herbalife is really picking up and has a lot of uh, you know uh, popularity amongst people. Yes, you might say, is it because of COVID-19, where people are really worried about their health? Maybe because of that, and exclusively they are running up a lot of campaigns, health campaigns to make people aware that they can easily drop down their weight and at the same time can also be healthy, right? So now whatever the things can be, it's just the opportunity that you got to understand. We were stuck with the soap example I was just telling you. So word of mouth, there came the word of mouth, because of which, yeah, Herbalife, many people started having a benefit out of the product, and they didn't stop there. Rather, they started introducing it to their family and friends as well. The word of mouth is like a wildfire, I must say, in India, right? So it has a lot of impact on people, right? So this is how it works. In case if there is delightment, well and good. You have to really work upon making them stay back with you using your products. In case if it is under expectations, then there is a lot of scope for other the organization itself to improve, or some other organizations or entities to take this as an opportunity. So now this is what we call it as a problem identification. One small example. So there are so many unattended needs of the customers in the market, which can be a greater input for you to really work upon what should be your product. So the first step towards successfully starting a startup is to have a right problem statement. So if you have to have a right problem statement, you got to really exclusively work upon the research and also understand what exactly the market is, and what are the needs and wants of your customers, and how do you classify them, and how what do you think can be a solution, can come up with the next stages. Okay, what is a problem statement? It is why do we go for a problem statement? It is something that guides you for your creative thinking. What is that you should be working upon? A statement is a sentence that will help you to sum up what is that you want to bring the change. What are the things that has to be changed, or what is that you can introduce or rework on this product, or if the technology can be replaced. Or can be used to better satisfy the needs and wants of the customer. So there are a few points about the problem statements that you could see on the screen. So you try to understand why it's important. That can be addressed through a greater or a clear problem statement in the beginning of a problem solving, or setting up a startup, right? The next one we have choose the right need. Okay, now we have a lot of needs of the customer. So once I understand the gap or I understand the problem statement, the next thing is to understand what are the set of needs that has not been addressed or that has not been satisfied by the existing set of brands that's already existing in the market, right? So all it takes to do this is an innovation that makes everything happen, and it help you to take and reach towards your customers effectively. So how should your senses work when you're really working on? So an autonomy of an entrepreneur should be like you will have to work on all your senses. You should be engaged. You should have mindfulness when you are doing something. A brain should be a pool of ideas. I should be looking for an opportunity and investors. Mouth should be communicating your vision. Ears listening to a customer feedback. Heart full of passion. Stomach trust your gut that you could do. Feet dream high. Legs keep them going in tough time, right? So these are the characteristics that you got to really echo. When you got to really uh, you got to really achieve in order to be a successful entrepreneur. You got to be really mindful in whatever you are doing. The next thing that we are done with the problem uh, definition or the problem statement. Post that we're going to do what we're going to do is to pitch the idea. Pitch your idea. You got to pitch your idea. You got to sell your business idea to strangers in the time or one who's spending riding on elevator with them, right? So you got to know how to you make your idea happen or start introducing your ideas, or how do you pitch your idea. How can I do that? I can do by setting up goals, analyzing my audience or the targeted customers, and then I identify who has the power. I spy on my competitor's idea. I'll have a mission and I refine my idea. The first thing we have to do is to always have to create a blueprint guiding your steps towards the outcome you actually want. So you got to really have a clear cut objectives that you wanted to achieve. That's the first step. The next step is you got to identify who are your target audience. So we do a something called as market segmentation, technically speaking, where we analyze demographics, psychographics, behavioral concepts, and geographics of the targeted customers and classify them based on homogeneous and heterogeneous needs and wants. We call this as segmenting the market, right? So you bring in as one group set of people uh, who have similar needs and wants. I am mentioning again, it's not same, it's similar needs and wants, who can be one group for whom you will develop a product. Likewise, you can have a increased product line, products of different characteristics of the same kind. We call it as a product line. So likewise, we analyze the demographics, that is age, gender, income, marital status, ethnic background, or culture for that matter. Is called as demographics. Psychographics, activities, personality, values, and attitudes of your customers, benefits, usage rates, patterns. So behavioral patterns, when we say, we talk about purchase patterns, we talk about usage rates, and we talk about the benefits that they are getting from the products. Geographics, about the local, regional, national, and international geographical setup about the market. So you're going to get a complete information about your target market and try and understand the complete characteristics of your customers in the second step. The next one we have is identify who has the power. So, who has the power to green light your idea or to make it happen? You got to make a list of people who will have exposure to your pitch and identify them. So, you got to understand who gets involved in the decisions, and you have a direct access to make the to the decision makers, or you can talk about the middlemen, or you talk about the promoters, or you talk about the people who can make it happen for you. So all these stakeholders has to be identified when you talk about the third step, that is identify who has the power to support you and to make things happen for you. The next one we have spy on your competitors' ideas. What is that they are really doing on? And I can Google it, or I can have a lot of reports that's available on their website. So one of the source that I would always say is to read their annual reports, or read their product profile, just manuals. You can have a lot of ideas, and you can also have a lot of information that you could pull in, where you may not have a direct access to it, and still you can understand what exactly your competitors are doing. And post that, you got to create a mission. The best companies always have a mission oriented, the reason why they are existing, basically, right? So we call it as a mission. And after doing all this exercise, in case if you have to really refine your idea, this would be the last step of redefining or reworking on your idea. Okay, so now how do I develop a concept, or the idea development can happen is basically following these steps, the mission statement. Pretty much we have discussed most of the steps over here. So identify the needs of the customer, establish target specifications that we have understood in the segmentation, right? And generate product concepts, select product concepts, test product concepts by developing prototypes, set final specifications, plan downstream development, and development of plan. So you got to do all these things keeping in mind several things. We have external market analysis. We call it as SWOT analysis, that is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for your idea. Also, we have something called as macro analysis that we do, macro environment analysis. We have pest analysis as one of the methods where you analyze the political, economical, social, and technological environment for your idea. So likewise, you scan the entire environment and try and understand, is it a viable idea? Is it a viable concept first in place? Accordingly, every step you take the feedback and you be realistic and develop the concept. So the next thing that we do after all this is to develop a prototype. So the first thing that we did is to develop a problem statement, and the second thing that we did was on idea generation or defining the idea. After that, we did the product concept development. So once you're done with the product concept development, what should be the concept all about, the service all about, that you want to really offer to your customers? The next thing is to develop a sample, or the prototype, uh, which is a replica of what is your original product is going to be. So we call this as a prototype. So you develop a prototype, you test. We do something called as pilot testing before we launch a product. So you ask a couple of people who you think possibly would be your customers, or similar product users. You call them and give it as a sample, and take the feedback before you actually launch it in the market. So this is what the concept of developing a prototype and testing the prototype, right? So before you launch the product, you actually want to be sure, make sure that people accept your product, or say yes to your product. So we call this as prototype and testing of prototype, right? And the next thing we have, so if we are through with all the phases, the next thing that we do is to launch the product. So you have different strategies, approaches to launch your product. So we have phases again. You can see it on the screen. Phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Outline, launch strategy and product development, description, targeting, positioning, competition analysis, determining pricing, promotion plan, start of promotion and advertisement, product testing, and a soft launch. And press release, demos, websites, and media's update is the last step before you launch the product, or you launch the product through this, right? So there are different ways, or different steps that you got to really work upon before you launch a product. So these are the basic steps that you got to really follow for launching a product. So these are the basic steps to be involved in making the things happen for you, which I term it as product startup engineering, right? So you got to follow from the uh, generate idea or problem definition to the solution is through a launch of a product. It need not to be always a different product launch. It can also be an improvisation, uh, or it can also be a different service that you think can better serve the customers, or most of the times you think a technology would resolve the problem, right? So this is about the last topic for the day, and I'm open for questions. If you have any questions, I'm ready to take it up.